Hi, let's talk about soul contracts. It's been a while, and people are asking me various questions like how do you find agreements? How do you remove agreements? Can you remove entities with the whole soul contract revocation process? Can you cure cancer with using soul contract revocation? And stuff like that. So I want to expand, but before I get into it, I have a little question for you. Do you prefer me making like a longer videos or shorter videos? Because sometimes I can take off and make an hour long video and explain everything, but some people just don't have time to listen to the whole thing. So, what's your preference? Like, how long do you want to watch my videos? Should I like focus on the shorter video or longer video? And your preference. Second thing, uh, if you want to know more about soul contracts, getting out of body, or anything else, leave me a question or a topic like of what specifically you would like to know. Not just like, yeah, I want to know more about soul contracts, but like what specifically would you want to know? Then I can focus on the areas that are important to you and just talk about it. Because some people are interested in soul contracts, but since I don't know what exactly are they interested in, I might not touch those subjects. So please if you have interest, be specific about what you want to learn, what you want to know, because I have some knowledge. Like I don't know everything, but I know some. I've been working with it for a while, so yeah. Taking off of that, I guess today we can cover like how do you find agreements. Like in past, I've made videos talking about like how people make agreements when we incarnate and like the whole agreement thing, the walk-ins and how they don't have to make agreements. And now we can talk about like how do you find your agreements? Like how do you know that your life has agreements and stuff like that? So as you live, you might notice that, like, okay, you're trying law of attraction, you're trying to be a decent person, you're trying so hard to win in life, and yet there are things that happen against your own will. You're trying really hard, but life just doesn't give you any like results. You just don't win. And sometimes people are trying their hardest. People are trying to win. People are like trying so hard to be a good person, to just do something good, but life is relentless and they get like lots of losses. They lose people they love, they lose animals they love. Uh, they just experience loss after loss, not just like as in losing people, but as in like they cannot meet with people they want, they're rejected, abandoned, like they are fired, tons of negative things. So when do you know that it's not just you, but you've also have probably made some agreements that are impacting your life, or there's probably entities with that. So we have soul contracts. Those are like big main core agreements that you have that will impact your life in a big way. As in, I've had an agreement that, you know, intelligent people don't talk much. Intelligent people are quiet, but they have the loudest minds. And that was my biggest impact to stop me from talking. I was like really quiet and I could not focus, I could not talk. Inside, I would like keep nonstop. I'd talk nonstop in the past, and I would have like tons of thoughts like 520 subjects at the same time. I'm just thinking about like life and career and work and anime, like different things, just like all over the place. But when people want to know something about me, like I get shy and I think like, oh, I probably shouldn't talk because like, just a thing. So there are things like that you might have like core belief. You might have heard a phrase and just stuck with you, but at the same time that phrase is like really impacting your life. You might have had a past incident where, like, not just this life, but in past life, you probably hurt your back. You probably were unconscious. They're like, people with back problems, you can literally have a command from the past where you got unconscious, like someone knocked you out, or you sneezed for a second, or something happened, you were not fully conscious, or you were knocked out, and people in the background are talking, like, hey, back off, like, come back. So what happens is that you hear that phrase, and your back reacts. Your spine reacts it, it just backs off, and something goes like, and now it kind of hurts. Now you're not doing so good. And in this life, like, oh, my back hurts, like, oh, this like shoulders and stuff, and people get scoliosis, people get like different kind of structures like with back, and it like bothers them. And you go to docs like, oh no, it's everything's fine, and like but like it hurts constantly, no matter how many times you go to the chiropractor to like crack it and stuff, it just doesn't help. So you might have had the past life incident where it had affected your back, but also like in this life, as you look at the patterns in your life, something that keeps happening all the time. Like, sometimes you might have issues with relationships. Sometimes you have this sort of pattern, like when you're talking to people, like life goes good, you're doing great, and whenever you're doing great, something's gonna happen and it's gonna mess up everything. And you know that like whenever you're doing great and you're gonna talk about a specific subject, you need help, and you're trying to get help, and that help really messes you up, and everything's like lost. All the progress that you did goes like, yeah, boom, and you go down. It can happen a lot of times. You might try to like, okay, every time you try to meet with people, you're planning and everything goes great, you have great communication, but every time the day when you're supposed to meet, they will reject you. They will not show up. They will not answer your phone call. They will just not show up and not be there in your life. And then you're trying to get back and nothing's working, nothing's working, nothing's working. At some point, yeah, connection's going and you're talking again. And the time you have to meet up again, boom, they don't show up. Like, is it your fault? Is it like, are they afraid of you? Or is that like agreement that you have that the time you're supposed to get something going, the day when your life is supposed to get much better, boom, the contract affects you and you fail and like the life fails you, like you get hard losses and it just like hurts you, and then you're devastated and you have to deal with it like one step at a time. So there can like be these events, these patterns. Like just notice your life, look back, and if there was something happening where it's like no matter what circumstances are similar, and nothing's gonna change and it just keeps happening to you all the freaking time. And if you notice that, that might be one of your agreements. So you have to look at your life and just sort of analyze it. Like, okay, let's look at my life. Like, what kind of issues do I have? What kind of like fears and stuff? Like every time I try to talk to people, they reject me. Every time I try to like get the work, they don't accept me. Every time I try to do this and stuff, like it's always something. You're trying to push it, you're trying to get something, and you get rejected. Something fails, and it never happens. So that might be one of your agreements. There's also mundane, everyday agreements. As in, you're living life and people tell you certain things, like all your whole life you've believed about stuff in a certain way, and then you meet people that sort of like have a whole different opinion, and they will like shove it down your face and like say like, okay, life is that way, and if you don't believe me, then blah blah blah, and now you will feel guilty every time you're with that like person. And same thing happens, like you might be drinking alcohol, you might be smoking, you might be eating unhealthy, and there's this person who's like into super health. They're all into like, let's go vegan, let's go vegetarian, let's go live healthy, and now you're gonna change your world. And every time you're with that person, you're sort of feeling guilty because they're like shoving down your face about the truth, about life, about health, and what it should be. And now you're like, yeah, I want to live healthy, I want to do better, but, and then you like feel bad about yourself because you smoke, because it's hard to quit that, because it's hard to deal with your addictions, and you just feel bad with that person, but they're right at some point, and now like it just like really gets hard on you. So one of your agreements is that it's hard to quit. You're feeling bad whenever you're like doing stuff. You're feeling bad with a certain person. So you can literally look at your life and scan your issues. What kind of issues do you have? Like, okay, I might be fat. I cannot lose weight. It's hard to lose weight. I don't want to lose weight. I love eating all that like junk food. I love eating pizzas and burgers and like chocolate and stuff. And I don't want to quit. And all of these are agreements. All your beliefs about your issue, all your thoughts about it, all your feelings, those are agreements. And that can be changed. You are a character, and like you're like a clay. You can be molded in any way, and you are the one molding it all the time. So if you think that, okay, it's hard to quit, I cannot quit, I'm just like really addicted to it, and life will get like really bad if I quit, and I just will have no fun with that, like this these are all your beliefs, these are your agreements. If you cancel the agreement that you're gonna be like messed over, you're gonna feel depressed, you're gonna feel bad, like worthless, all of these things, any kind of emotion you might feel from your issue. If you're like, okay, every time I'm gonna talk to this person, I'll feel great, or like every time you're gonna go out and talk, and you're gonna feel like scared and stuff. There can be various results and like actions and reactions to that whole thing. But if you're aware of what happens, like how, like your thoughts, your feelings, like your emotions, all of that, keep a note of that. Because if you are aware, you can just list it out, and those will be your agreements, and you can cancel it. So right now I'm just going to talk about like how like finding your agreements, and we can focus. I don't know. Let's say I'll pick one of my things. For example, streaming. When I'm live streaming, I have a like, I don't know, hard time focusing on a game, or like sort of thinking that I have to please people, or not being able to play the game the way I want. So I guess like like uh not being authentic, not being myself when I'm live streaming. Like I'm just like looking at my issues right now. Like I like live streaming. I like playing video games. And what happens is that every time I'm playing a video game, for example, Death Stranding now on live stream, I feel like that little pressure, like, oh, people will not be interested in me reading a text. I cannot, I don't feel comfortable reading text for myself to find out information about the game. And it feels like, oh, okay, I have to like stop reading and just not do that and just go engage and like play in the world because people will be more interested in character moving rather than me reading a text. So these are my beliefs. It doesn't have to be true. It can be completely different and wrong. People might be like, hey, yeah, I want to find out. Like, this is interesting. But me, this is my belief, my perception. And the way I see the world, this is my agreement. So I believe that people are not interested in me reading the text and finding more information. So just like when you have an issue, like okay, I don't feel comfortable and stuff like that, you can go all over the place. But what happens is that you need to find a specific issue. You need to make it very specific, not go all over the place, not go in general. Oh yeah, streaming. No, no, no. Streaming, you're taking all over the place, and you can find tons of agreements, but you will never get to the core, and you will never remove anything that you really, really need removed. So we have to get really specific. So now, right now, like, as I'm looking at my issues, just probably not feeling comfortable reading the text when I'm playing video games and streaming live. That would be like this really long, long specific item. But then I can ask myself these questions, like, okay, why am I feeling like uncomfortable reading the text when I'm live streaming and playing video games? And I have to talk it out. And what happens? You ask yourself questions, or you have someone else ask you questions, and you look inwards. Why is it that you believe in that way? How it makes you feel? What are your feelings towards that? What are your beliefs, perceptions, attitudes? And you're just going deeper. You're like, okay, reading a book and like finding all the details about yourself regarding that belief. And the deeper you can dig in, the more beliefs you will find that you can remove. And once the belief is removed, your issue is gone. But let's keep in mind, have to be a specific issue, and at the same time, if you pick, okay, I'm gonna work on having cancer, I'm gonna work on like being like I don't know, homeless and stuff like that, like various things, you can work on that, but you remove one issue and there will be tons of others related. So for me, I've done plenty of sessions on myself to where I've done like, okay, one big subject, like I don't know, communication, for example. Communications is a huge area, so I did like 15 different sessions regarding that, like communication subject. Okay, like I have a hard time talking. I'm too shy. I'm camera shy. Like tons of things that affect my communication. I've did like lots of sessions regarding that, and I've had great wins. So for me, I have to be very specific and don't expect that you do a session on cancer and the cancer is gone. No. What you do is like you change your beliefs, you change your thinking, you change your feeling state that will allow you to get better, that will allow you to look for the doors and possibilities and other tools to get better. Like maybe right now you have cancer, maybe you are sick, maybe you can't find a job, and you're like, yeah, okay, I can't find a job, and you remove tons of agreements, but it's just like, okay, God, please give me 1 million, and you're like sitting at home, you're doing nothing, and you're asking for $1 million. No, you have to do something. Buy a lottery ticket, go ask someone to give you, try to do something to get that. Same with agreements. If you want to get something, you want to get rid of your cancer, you want to get rid of your issues, you want to find a job, you remove the little problem. Okay, I have cancer. So you remove your beliefs about cancer. And then you look at like at some other possible issues regarding cancer. Like you don't want to eat healthy, you don't have the money to like take care of yourself, you just never get better, you have diseases your whole life, tons of things. Same with jobs. Okay, I can't find a job. I'm not even looking for a job. I'm too lazy to look for a job. I don't want to look for a job. I don't want to work anyways. I just want to be like to be sitting at home making all the money and being happy. You have tons of beliefs regarding finding a job, and okay, you remove like, yeah, I don't have a job. If you don't start looking for a job, if you don't do anything regarding finding it and like making money, you're not gonna move anywhere. It's just like, oh yeah, the session didn't work. I removed my agreement regarding like getting a job, and I didn't get a job. Did you look for it? Did you do anything to get it? So once you remove agreement, it's like taking a stop. You have a stop sign, you have something in front of you, like you have a wall that's like stopping you from moving forward. You remove that, and you have to move forward in life. You have to do something. That's the same thing, like with. Uh, it was like just a little funny story, but like Rich Wayne went 50x. People that know him he was doing like the sort of like soul contract revocation course and like helping people, and we have the boot camp like and the forum. So people got there, and there was like one lady who got the access for free. Like we just gave her away the course. Like okay, take it. Like she had a problem. She had myopia. She needed help. So she does the session on like, okay, I cannot see. She removes like 20, 30 agreements, like, okay, I cannot see, I don't see well, I don't want to see things. She removes those agreements and nothing changes. And she blames Rich, and she wants a refund on something she got for free. And okay, so whatever, go away. If you don't like it, it's not a big thing. But the thing is, you can remove your like belief about having myopia. You can remove your belief about like not seeing well. But if you don't start working on yourself, looking for tools like doing eye yoga, eating healthier, looking at the agreements and issues you have in life, looking at your beliefs, and when you start having this whole myopia thing, or like when you start like having this disease and stuff, look inside and like sort of take it apart, find out all the details. And if you can do that, you win. Because if you like start all these things and you remove that and start moving forward and looking for other tools and things to like add up and make your life better, you win. So for me, going back to my thing, like okay, feeling uncomfortable when I'm streaming and or like feeling uncomfortable feeling reading text when I'm streaming. So like what might be some of the reasons for feeling that way? Because I believe that people want to see me walk around in the world and not read the text. Because I believe that people are not interested in the story and the text so much as just like walking around in something that happens out like outside in the world. And I don't know. I don't feel comfortable reading the text. I don't think people will like it. I don't think people will approve of it. I think that people are like this and that and that. I have tons of beliefs of what people think without even asking them. I have never asked people if they're okay with me reading that stuff, if they want me to read it out loud, or is it okay to read it in my mind. Like, okay, another issue like I'm fighting right now. I'm feeling uncomfortable reading text out loud when I'm streaming. Okay, so what might be some of the reasons for that? I don't know. I'm afraid to pronounce the words wrong. I'm afraid to make a mistake and mess up. I'm afraid to make myself look like an idiot. Like English is my second language. I don't trust myself. I feel like if I'm gonna read and find a new word that I don't know, I will read it in a weird way, and people will be like, "What the fuck is she reading? Like, look at the text." Like they're like most people don't know it. My English is my second language, and then I get all super shy. I'm afraid that if I start reading and find a word I don't know, I will not only pronounce it like in a wrong way, but I also be like, okay, I'm feeling pressure on myself. I'm starting to stress out because like, okay, I've been like trying so hard and what is this? So it's gonna be like scare me, and then I get like super nervous and shy, and I will talk really fast, and I will lose that like relaxed zone. So like, okay, maybe not only am I not like afraid that people will not want to read text, another thing that is deeper and underlying that is that I myself have like tons of negative beliefs about reading the text out loud, so I don't feel comfortable with that. So when you have these issues in your life, and how do you find agreements? Find some general area, like what is it specific that you want to work on? Your health, your career, your job, making money, having a better relationships, getting out of body, anything. Look at something specific. And when you have that, break it apart. Get specific into what exactly. You can have tons of issues regarding getting out of body, regarding your health, regarding getting a job, getting a relationship. You might have like hard time communicating. You don't know how to talk with girls or boys. You don't know how to make money. You don't want to work. You have to work. Tons of things that you have, and you might have tons of issues regarding one subject. But break them apart. Talk it out. Find something specific. You can have like 20, 30 items. And to be clear, we have like one general area. So like let's say health, work, relationships, getting out of body. These are big areas. Once you chosen the area you want to work on, like find the possible items. Possible item is like, okay, I have a cancer. I have a myopia. I'm not feeling it. I have headaches. I have back pains. I like, and you have like tons of things. You don't want to work out. You don't want to. You don't want to eat healthy. You like junk food. Like tons of areas that you can find. Just spread them out all over the place, and pick something that you are interested in, that you're feeling at the moment, that you're feeling like, yeah, this is the one. It's like when you're finding items and when you're looking deeper, there's this phenomena where it sort of knocks you out. You're looking at things and it's hard to confront, and you start to get snoozy. Which is why like doing these sessions alone kind of gets hard sometimes, and is hard to get through it sometimes, because like once you're looking at your issues, you're like, oh yeah, like I have a hard time getting a relationship. And like you're looking deeper and you get snoozy and sort of slowly knocks you out, and you're getting unconscious, and you just want to go to sleep. What happens is that your subconscious mind is traveling. It's looking like all of these things that you've experienced in the past, and it's like, is it the thing? Is it the thing? And once you find the right item to address, it wakes you up. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, this is the one. Like you really get like more energized. You get the energy of wave and wave energy, like what are those called? But you get like this energized feeling, and you're like, this is the one. Like you will feel it. And sometimes you might be hit with interest, you might be hit with this energy, like yeah, this is the one. Like I want to work on it. And sometimes you just have to get through it. Just push yourself. And when you're doing sessions and like looking for these agreements, talk it up. Ask yourself tons of questions. Like what might be some of the reasons for blah blah blah? When was the first time blah blah blah? What does this thing suggest? Are there any advantages or disadvantages? Like like tons of questions you can ask yourself about the whole subject that you've chose. And the more you can talk it up, don't just like, oh yeah, I don't know, yes, no, not 2 words, not 3 words. Talk it up, a few sentences, as much as you can. Talk it up. Look inwards, because every single answer you have for that thing is your agreement. And every single thing you might answer, like, okay, I have a hard time talking to girls. I don't know how to talk to girls. Okay, what might be some reasons for having a hard time talking to girls? Oh, I'm shy. I don't know what to say. I'm just like afraid to fuck up. I'm afraid to mess up. I'm afraid to make a fool of myself. Tons of things. Not just like, I don't know. Of course you know. Deep inside you know. You know your issues. Look inside. Talk it up. You don't have to talk to anyone else. You can do it on your own. If you have a friend or someone you trust, they can ask these questions and you can talk it out. And once you talk it out, write those agreements down. Just like every single thing you might have like, okay, I'm shy. Write down, I am shy. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like write it down. Every single thing you have to say is your agreement. Write it down, and you will have a whole nice list of agreements. It could be 50, 100, 1,000. I've literally had like 10 pages of like word, like just line after line after line, like tons of agreements, and on any issues. So the deeper you can go inwards and find out all of these agreements, is going to be easier to revoke them. And right now I'm just covering like how to find the agreements, and I can make videos in the future like of how to revoke them. So hopefully this was of any help. If you have any questions, just tell me. And if you want to know like anything, just be specific about what, because I can talk it up and like I can share my beliefs, my experience. And if you're interested, I'll be really happy. So yeah, thank you for watching, thank you for being with me, and I will see you next video. Bye.